Steelers. And how about James White, a fourth-round pick out of Wisconsin? Think about who he played behind while he was at Wisconsin, and he turns out to be the unsung hero of the Super Bowl. Would have been the MVP if it wasn't for Tom Brady.
And you mentioned James White at Wisconsin. He was behind who? Melvin Gordon and Monte Ball, right?
That's correct. It's always tough for the guys throwing the football when they think they've got a completion and the ball's almost there, and then someone sneaks a hand or two in and bats it away.
From the gun on third down, Brady. And he'll have his man. That's Edelman. Now the ball comes loose, and the Seahawks have recovered. And they'll get 15, but that won't be nearly enough. It's fourth down.
We have seen this before, and we know coaches preach about this and work on it all the time. Catch the ball. You know there's going to be some traffic somewhere. They've got to put it away and secure it as they try and get downfield.
Following the fumble recovery, it's Wilson. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out, incomplete.
We know it's not an easy job to go out and catch passes when people are trying to tackle you and knock the ball away. But the bottom line is, that's a pass he's got to have and a pass he should have caught.
Again on 2nd and 10, it's Wilson. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And this is caught inside the 5. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. Doug Baldwin with his second touchdown in this opening quarter. And the Seahawks add on to their lead. That's a heck of a start to this one for him here in the first quarter.
2 receiving touchdowns, just getting the game underway essentially. I mean, there's a long way to go. If I'm on defense, I've got to figure out how to slow this guy down, because when one guy shreds your team, that's demoralizing. Make him spread it around at least, but right now he's showing no signs of slowing down.
Hauschka now to send this one away following the score. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and they'll take over at the 25. On 1st and 10, here's Brady. Incomplete. LeGarrette Blount was the intended target. And now it's 2nd down.
Everything about that play tells you about today's NFL offenses and what they're asking out of running backs. You can't just be a guy who can run the football. You have to be able to catch it as well, and he didn't get that done on that play.
Brady gives now to Blount. Looking for a seam, but finding none. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down. Alongside Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin, it's the Patriots in possession to begin quarter number 2. They do, however, have a tough 3rd and long coming up. Now a play fake, Brady. And he will find his man. That's Hogan, complete. And they're going to get this one all the way out across the 45.
And when an offense is doing a nice job selling the play-action pass, a lot of responsibility shifts to the linebackers. They're the ones that have to determine run or pass and get to the proper places on the field.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he takes it across midfield to the 45. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3.
This drive is turning into an extended one, and the guy carrying the ball, he's becoming more like a body blows guy. Every carry is putting some damage on the defense. So after a while, I'm not too sure how many guys are going to want to run up and tackle him.
And after the play on the ground, that brings up 2nd down here. Blount, the lone running back. And they'll give it to him here. And this time not as successful, as he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up 3rd.
With the struggles we're seeing up front for the offense today, they've got to think about changing up their play calling. Some screens, some draws, some quick-hitting plays. In order to try and supplement the run game. You don't totally abandon it, but you try and give it a little bit of help.
Shotgun now for Brady. To the right side, and he's got Edelman. And he'll get it down here to the 43. They stop him for only 3 that time, and that'll bring up 4th down. Last year for Edelman, just below 100 receptions, 98, over 1,100 yards, 3 touchdowns. And, you know, this is a guy that gets a lot of pub for being that perfect receiver for Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. What's his role going forward?
I think his role going forward is to be a bona fide #1 receiver in the NFL, meaning he's not just a Tom Brady receiver. He's that guy for anyone. And he spent so much time proving it.
The Seattle offense now set to come back out on the field. And they were able to punch it in the end zone last time. They'll be looking to do that again here for the defense. Obviously, they'll be looking to stop them from punching it back in the end zone.
It always is punch-counter-punch, isn't it? And which team has the advantage? Well, let's just go back. Last time on offense, they rolled downfield, got into a good rhythm. You can see a little more bounce in and out of the huddle. You can see the sideline really get into the game. So defensively, you're thinking to yourself, how do we take that away from them? How do we get the advantage back? Let's see what they come up with. I think pressure is always the first way to go.
If you love pressure, let's see if they dial it up this drive. A good pickup there at 22. And now the clock will stop as he's able to get up and spike it here. CD, wanted to get your thoughts just on the landscape of the offseason for each of these teams. Super Bowl in the rearview mirror, but so much going on. People look at the draft a lot, but there's a lot more that goes into the offseason for these front offices, is there not?
It certainly is, and then even before we get to the draft, you start with the combine. You know, that's held in Indianapolis every year, and you have about 350 of the top prospects coming together to get their physicals and interviews and on-field performance, and all that will get evaluated along with their game tape. And then you've got the free agents, all right? That starts, I believe, in early March, where now the free agents can start moving around to different teams. So your team's starting to take a little bit of shape there, free agency, because then the draft's coming up. You're trying to put your team together with new draft picks, have everyone start to move in one direction, and then you have the OTAs and minicamps. You get to see them on the field for the first time, and we start to get a better idea of how these teams are going to look when the fall begins.
Two minutes to play here in the first half. Back to CenturyLink Field after this. Back now. As I search for my cue card here, there we go. Coming up at halftime, Larry Ridley will join us from Orlando. He'll have highlights and analysis from our first half. And now off to the races, down the right side. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. Paul Richardson, 47 yards. And the Seahawks find a way to stretch their lead. Wow, talk about a big 4th down conversion for the score defensively. How do you let that happen?
I think you start with the offense, and you give them credit for going for it and having that type of, well, let's face it, audacity. But defensively, I think you're right on target, partner. There's no way something like that's supposed to happen in that situation. You're supposed to be able to shut that down and get the ball back for your own team. Instead, they give up not just a big play, but a touchdown.
Hauschka now to send this one away following the score. Danny Amendola on the return. And an excellent return there as he's up to the 35 and make it the 40-yard line.
At some point, we're going to get it through our heads. Special teams, special teams, special teams. The spark that often wins games.
Okay, partners, New England comes out here to take the field on offense. This is such an interesting story, how they've been able to do it year after year after year. Guys talk about parity in the NFL. Well, New England has kind of transcended that parity, and they've done it with guys that you don't normally think of as household names.
The parts keep changing for New England. That's the amazing part on offense, all right? Offensive linemen change, receivers change, running backs change. We know the one constant is Tom Brady, and that's a huge deal for them. But to be able to do it in what you call the parity times, and you're exactly right, everyone's supposed to be pretty equal. New England still a top 10 offense year in and year out. In 2016, they were number 4, and that helped them with a number 1 ranked defense as well. Not too many things get to a quarterback of this magnitude, but I think it's safe to say that pressure can get to any quarterback.
Now, he's obviously a great franchise quarterback, but felt the pressure, threw it incomplete.